Hi, Timothy Carlson here. As a film critic out here in Vegas, I do get to go to advanced screenings for a lot of movies that are going to be critically acclaimed or major Oscar nominees. And one of those movies that I did get to see at a screening finally got a home video release courtesy of A24, and we're looking at that today. This is The Brutalist, starring Adrien Brody. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. There's our cover art with Brody's character early in the film. That looks very nice. Spine text, back cover. We do get this nice panoramic artwork on the back of the inner case. Here is our 4K Ultra High Def disc. And you have another spanning panoramic art here under the disc of another one of the locations from the film. And I also forgot to show these off earlier, but there are some art cards in here as well, showing some of Laszlo Toth's architecture as seen in the film. Some of these locations actually appear in the movie. Some were just, concept art that was seen in the movie. And then on the back of each of these cards, it actually has a little excerpt there that has the film's logo as well as telling you what it is. Brief disclaimer, this release does not include a Blu-ray copy of the film. So any images that you see in this review were taken from Google searches. They're just general images to represent the film. They are not 4K screen caps, and they do not represent the quality of this release. Escaping post-war Europe, visionary architect Laszlo Toth arrives in America to rebuild his life, his work, and his marriage to his wife Erzsébet after being forced apart during wartime by shifting borders and regimes. On his own in a strange new country, Laszlo settles in Pennsylvania, where the wealthy and prominent industrialist Harrison Lee Van Buren recognizes his talent for building. Monumental in both visual power and narrative scope, The Brutalist is a new American epic from acclaimed filmmaker Brody. Again, I actually did have the luxury of seeing The Brutalist on the big screen at a critics screening late last year. I'm not sure how wide of a release this film got during its peak, but I am very happy to see it make a home video release so I can revisit it again. Clocking in at around 3.5 hours, The Brutalist is certainly not a short film, but it is a new American epic of the best kind, and one that I was certainly happy to get to watch and, of course, to revisit on home video. The film, of course, stars Adrien Brody as Laszlo Toth, an architect who arrives in America. This, of course, happening after World War II when he's been separated from his wife and niece, and he struggles to rebuild his life, reconnecting with a former relative, and when things there ultimately fall apart, he finds himself working for a wealthy businessman who wants to put Laszlo's architectural knowledge to the test, building a large community center that he feels is going to bound the community together. But of course, Laszlo certainly isn't immune to the darker side of the American dream, dealing with issues like infidelity and drug addiction along the way, and of course the struggle of trying to get his wife to the United States. And there's a great who's who of actors appearing in this film. Guy Pearce, of course, appears as the wealthy industrialist who employs Laszlo and makes him part of his organization and community center project. And Felicity Jones portrays Laszlo's wife, who, of course, he's struggling to try to get over to America with all that's been going on, and of course the chaos of post-war Europe making things like this difficult. The Brutalist is a beautifully filmed movie. There's even a vintage-style VistaVision bumper that comes up at the beginning of the movie, and every shot here just looks completely epic. This is not the kind of movie that's a thrill ride, exciting, moving at 1,000,000 miles a second. It's a very slow burn character study, character-driven drama that's made exceptionally well. Everyone that's on both sides of the camera here, they know exactly what they're doing, and it's just an excellent, well-crafted film all around. I mean, the overall message of the movie, I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to be. Maybe that the American dream is not always quite what it's cracked up to be. But everything here comes together perfectly. It's certainly a career-defining performance for Adrien Brody, who did win the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in this film. And for what I hear, his acceptance speech was apparently almost as long as the film. Slightly exaggerating there, of course. So, for any fan of film, The Brutalist is certainly worth checking out at least once. I don't think it's going to be for everyone, but I certainly enjoyed it. The Brutalist on 4K does not have HDR, but it doesn't stop this from being a beautiful looking transfer. Again, they got that vintage VistaVision bumper at the beginning of the movie, and unsurprisingly, shot on film, looking very natural. It's just They even mentioned in the bonus features that this was shot on vintage-style cameras to try to achieve that older look. There are a few scenes of the movie that do utilize things like stock footage, and those understandably aren't going to look as good as the rest of the film, but overall, I'm not at all disappointed with this transfer. Lack of HDR be damned, it looks gorgeous. We do get 2 features on the disc. I was hoping for a slightly bigger package, but we do have a commentary with Lowell Crawley, who was the cinematographer on the movie, and then we have an Architects of the Brutalist featurette, which looks into the making of the film. So I do wish this release had maybe a little more in the way of bonus features and included a Blu-ray copy as well. But overall, it's a fantastic, beautiful looking, beautifully produced, beautifully made, and beautifully acted film, and I'm very happy to finally own this home video release from A24. Very highly recommended. How about you? Did you get to see The Brutalist? What did you think of this film? Do you think it's the best performance on screen from Adrien Brody? Comment down below, and then what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.